Okay, greetings everyone. Welcome to the Sean and Sherelle Hour.
The
I'm
segment, the hour,
Sean.
we're gonna work it
We're
out.
gonna work it out. We're- I'm Sean, also known as Miss Love, and this is Sherelle J.
Sherelle J.
It might bring about tears and laughter and all types of emotions, but it's a healing journey that we
Yeah.
both decided to take, and we're taking this together, and you guys can come right along with us on this journey. Life can sometimes throw us a curveball, and it can
Yes.
be devastating. It won't take us out, but it will shake our foundation,
Mhm.
and it will shake it to the core, to where it feels like we're going over the edge, but
Mhm.
we haven't fallen off that edge yet. Today, Sherelle is going to open up and talk about the transition of her beautiful daughter, Randy. Um, I'm going to let Sherelle tell her story. And
That I mean, I heard it in my niece's voice, our niece's
yeah,
voice, and
yeah,
she was just like, "Have you talked to Randy?" Or, like this, and I was like, "Hey," she said, "Something's wrong, ain't real. Something's wrong, ain't real." And I'm trying to gather my things. Is this? I'm supposed to be at the hospital for days because it was a major surgery, this and that. I've got my laptop, got everything, and I'm like trying to grab
hmm
my stuff. And I said, "What? Forget the stuff. I could hear the urgency." So it's
yeah.
like she said, "I got to click back over because I can't get off the line with Randy." But then she got back
Oh
and she said,
Lord.
"And something's wrong. Something's wrong." So then she's beginning to tell me, like
Yeah.
something's wrong. We don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong. And
hmm
we knew that she was going to sell an item on Facebook from Facebook. So
Yeah.
that part we knew, but we didn't know the details. So all of these things are going through your head, which I'm just driving, literally not knowing where I'm driving, just driving. But I'm
Yeah.
also I also got on the phone with several people when I couldn't talk. I've asked people now, like, what was I saying? Like, and 3 years later, I was never able to ask. I was never able to talk like this. This is 3 years
Yeah.
in. I couldn't even speak of it without going completely bananas. We got down to the scene and we were down at the other end, which I'm thankful for now because you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Her car
Yeah.
was overturned. Her car was overturned. Now
Oh
they got it
wow.
taped off almost a whole block away. So when we pull up to the scene, we still think that she's hurt,
Yeah.
but not.
Was her car was overturned because she tried to get away, or is
I don't know. Now, Sean, there are details that I will never know,
yeah,
and I don't want to know, and I don't need to know, and really, no one else
yeah,
needs to know. You know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
her mother, and I don't know.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
things I would have never known where in her body she was shot had it not been publicized. Those things to
yeah,
me do not need to be publicized. But people sent
yeah,
me articles, and I didn't want to read the stuff. I don't want to see no. I don't want to see anything with my daughter on it.
exactly.
But the main thing that I want to talk about is getting that call that night.
Yeah,
That it was a call that I heard the fear in my niece's voice, and I knew something was wrong urgently.
yeah,
We got down to the scene. They had us at another end, which I'm thankful that we were not on the where you could see her car. We were so far away from it.
yeah,
And the reason that I'm thankful that you couldn't see it because now we know that the car was overturned. Had we pulled up to that, I probably would not be here today.
yeah.
I'm not trying to be strong and act like I'm super duper strong because I cry.
No,
I do
yeah,
cry. There are days when
yeah,
I am just a mess, when it's so hard for me to get out of bed for all those things. But there are days that I know how to gird myself up because these are things that we're going to talk about. You have to gird yourself up,
you
or
have to.
else,
That is important,
or else.
or else you're right.
I mean, I could, I could give up. I
And
mean,
it's okay to cry.
yeah,
It's
there
okay
are
to
days
cry.
that I do, but
You
today,
know,
I,
I said there are times that God gives us strength through difficult
yes,
conversations and
yes,
times to where we
absolutely,
can push through,
yes.
because
To
you know what
push
I
through.
mean, because it's
Yes.
necessary for.
So while we're at this end, and
Mhm.
unbeknownst, Randy's all the way, the car's overturned way down there. Like I didn't know how far it was. So everybody's going crazy because what I just said. There's no evidence, but I just knew it. I just felt it. He told me, and I knew it. I
And you
knew it was.
knew it.
I mean, when that man said that, I knew it was true. I felt it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
just say that. I
Yeah.
knew it.
It's the
And
same
so,
feeling my mom had. Like,
mm,
you know,
I mean,
she
when
knew,
that
she
man
felt it.
said it, I mean, when you get on the scene, you already feel it, but you just trying
Yeah.
to. I ask those people so many questions, this and that, and I tell them all these little details that prove that this is my child.
Or, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Or
right,
could I have?
right. But then you have to come to the realization you could not have because
You could not have.
we're not in control. I mean, if I wouldn't have went there, if I wouldn't have done that, that did
Yeah.
not make you could have been wherever you wanted to be. That was their doing.
That was there. That was their doing.
Randy ran into some
Yeah.
young men that are. I mean, everybody's troubled, but some are more troubled than others.
Yeah.
We all have troubles. I've been through troubles my whole life, just like Sophia said in The Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. All my life I come into this world fighting. This
Yeah.
color's one. This color's
Yeah.
one. You come in
Yeah.
fighting.
That's true.
I
That's
didn't
true.
choose it, but you come in with one strike against you already. Two, that
Yeah.
you're a female.
Yeah.
Two, so we can keep going. All my life I had to fight. I've been fighting my whole life. So this is another fight. This is another battle. Now this is one that had me on the ring-a-ling-ding. I was on the rings,
Yeah.
girl. I'm telling you that when the count is going down, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get up before the 10 hits? Because it came real close.
It came real close. Yeah.
I'm talking about the mustard seed is what held me.
Praise
Because it
God.
came real
It
close.
came real close.
Because I was at the lake, Sean. I didn't tell the story. I didn't wrote it.
Yeah.
I was at the lake.
I mean, I can only imagine and I know you say the transition, so I want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be mindful of my words, because we get so used to saying other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only imagine having a child to transition, what the pain would be like and how it would feel. You know what I mean? I could only imagine. And it's still my imagination will not take me to that place.
No.
Like a 9.5 earthquake,
No.
which is close to the 10. A 10 is total destruction. You know what I mean? So I can
nothing. That is what has made me how I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because people's opinions don't matter. I could care if somebody gets on and says, why she got that on, what she do that for, why she talking about that, how could she talk like that? She couldn't have. I can tell you the truth, and that's what I'm gonna do. Tell the truth, and this is the absolute total truth. The level of pain, there's not, and you can't even, it can't register. I'll tell you what the level of pain is. I was about to kill my own self, and that is an honest thing. Can you imagine pain so bad somewhere that you don't want to just cut your, like, oh, my hands hurt, maybe I can just get it, maybe they got to take that off, or take, everything hurts so bad you just want to just end it. Some people, I could say that I never understood suicide. I've heard people say they wanted to kill themselves. I never had. I never had a suicidal thought. I'm not bragging, but I've always talked through my things. For one, I've always been a talker. I don't hold stuff in. People say that's too much, but see, I talk through my problems. That's why Feel, Deal, and Heal is real. I've always been one to talk through. When I got an issue, if nobody will listen, baby, I'll journal about it. I'm gonna write about it. I'm gonna get it out. I'm not holding that shit in. I learned not to hold it in.
It's not healthy.
My family's always told me I run my mouth too much. I think some of y'all don't talk enough. And the pain. There's no way to describe it except I wanted to take, and I was actually in the process of doing it, not wanted to. I made the decision I can't take no more at that lake that night. And I was actually drinking so much wine, just drunk, slovenly drunk, not even myself, not even taking care of myself, not even cleaning myself. I looked in the mirror. I got pictures. I got videos. and was saying, "Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Look at you. You're not even taking care of yourself at all. I mean, at all, because you don't care. Because everything, nothing matters. Nothing, everything stopped mattering.
Nothing. So
And
what pulled you back?
that
What
night,
reeled you back in?
when I was there at that lake, and I cried out to God. I mean, I had a conversation with God, basically like, you don't have to tell me why. I mean, you don't have. I didn't been drunk, but I'm to the point now. I'm gonna take my own self out because I've been faithful to you, God. My daughter is a good girl. I taught her right. I taught her about you, God. This is when I'm actually out there drinking, talking like this is my last cry to you. I'm about to get myself in this van, take the rest of this melatonin, drink this wine, fall asleep, and roll into this water and just let myself just go because I can't take it no more. I can't take the pain no more. But I'm out in the middle of talking to God like that. But I said, God, if you could just tell me why Randy? Randy's a good girl. I love you, Randy. Listen how I'm talking to God. God didn't begin to see like glimpses of Randy's life, that smile since she's been a baby, what she's brought to everybody, and what like a picture show in the sky of Randy. Only thing I could say was some people call it out of body. It wasn't an out of body experience. It was a vision. It was an answer from God. When you really want to know, God will really show you.
He will give it to you.
And that's what changed. That's what pulled me back out, because then I said, wow. Because I was starting to think God wasn't real. I'm going to just say this. I was questioning everything. Yeah. Like, ain't nothing real. What's the point of this? Just, if God, you won't take me out, I'll take my own stuff out, because I've been thinking of something that it can't be real, because ain't none of this making sense.
Yeah.
And so once I got the answer that I needed, the truth that I needed, then I wanted to live again. And I knew the purpose of living. And then I knew that I was not living without my daughter. She's just transitioned into another realm. Physical body.
From the physical. That's what presence. I mean. From her physical.
From the physical presence.
Yeah.
Because of the memories and that spirit, the hearing of her voice, like when I'm going through something and I'll be like, I wish I had Randy to talk to, or then I don't know what she would say. I can still hear it and hear that laugh and see that smile.
That's the blessing, because we can still hear it. Those are the blessings that we take for granted.
Thank you, girl.
You take those blessings for granted. Like you can,
hear
a certain scent and put her in the room. Because of the sense of smell that God gives us. You can see a certain item.
I'm actually doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. This being one.
Your heart's desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go through things. I say we grow through things. There are things that we Marvin Sapp said it best. I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm better.
Yes.
And to some people that sounds insane, but I've read my daughter's journals. Not all of them, but I'm just like, I feel led to certain things. And when I open it up, girl, it's just like understanding my daughter more and more and more. Also, we say it's too short of a life, but who's to say? Was Jesus like too short at 33?
Yeah.
Nobody can say
nobody knows
what life is supposed to be. Only thing we're supposed to do is live your life and live it well and make an impact in the life that you live. Mm-hmm. Because Randy lived for 27 years and she's made more of an impact to some people than made in 80 years.
Let me tell you something, and I'm not just saying this because we on here and it, I've been in the Randy presence only a few times, but in those few times, and she didn't say a whole lot. There are some people that can enter a room and their presence is so pleasant and warm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And Randy's presence was so pleasant and warm. Yeah. She was very approachable.
Yes.
Her smile was so beautiful. And she inherited that smile from you. Beautiful smile that covered her face. And but just her presence, even looking at a picture of her, when I looked at your video,
Mm-hmm.
that you have on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
even as a child.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been going through something emotional in the picture, but you
Mm-hmm.
never, all you saw was a
Yes,
glow on her.
the light.
She had a
I
glow.
like. Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
Sean. And
yes, she
and
did.
and it's not, you say we are recording, but if we wasn't recording, and if we walked up to someone else and someone else, they're all going to say the same thing. Now
Same thing.
that is another thing that makes me see grief and regret are two different things, because
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets with her. That's one thing that I'm
Yeah, I was
like,
just gonna ask you about that.
because me and this is that is I bought that for Randy's birthday in April. She was murdered in August.
Yeah.
So got this for her, and she was already filling in with places she had already been. And then, the word wanderlust, I gave her that whole thing, and she had up on her wall. I'll insert some pictures where she was standing right in front of this in her home.
Mm-hmm.
And we had every intention, girl, to travel and go these places and more, And we were talking about getting our passports, and we were both getting promotions on our job, working for the same company. Had plans, girl, getting our credit together, getting, just doing things, getting
He's
everything
doing
lined
good.
up to live the life that we said that we were going to, that we always said we were going to, and we were in position to
Yeah.
do that. Randy was on the rise on her job. I mean, quickly rising, and so I got her that, and we were planning. She was already starting to do some traveling. We were planning on finishing, and I do plan on finishing. There are some pictures that I need to fill in, but that's my daughter's, and I
Yeah.
and I and I plan. I have every intention to finish that,
We'll finish that.
and every place I go to
Yeah.
leave something to mark that we're doing it together still,
Yeah.
with my daughter. So
Yeah.
um, things like that, Sean, is just people have plans. This is one thing that I say. My nephew went into her home afterwards because she had a dog, Arzina. You know what I'm saying? So he had to
Mm-hmm.
go into
Mm-hmm.
her home after we did find out, you know, the devastating news. And in the hoopla, I had went home, and then people start coming over. My nephew had the sense to go get the dog, Zena. So he went
Yeah.
into her home, and when he went over there, he said that her tea was still warm. That's one thing that's
Wow.
that's a phrase that I can't get out of my brain. Her tea was still warm.
Still warm.
So she had every intention of coming back to enjoy that tea,
Just coming right back home to enjoy. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So live every moment with intention. Be
With it.
mindful to love those people, to leave that impact like Randy did with it's a
Yeah.
dent, it feels like a void sometimes. When I sit around and miss Randy, that's when I gotta get up and get active, whether it be writing, even making videos, cooking something,
Right.
doing something. Because right now there's no one in my life to fill that void personally. So I have to fill it with other things.
Yeah.
It would be
And I
nice to
think that's important to not to be so idle. You know what I
have,
mean? Because
yes.
an idle mind, it could do
It
some
absolutely
damage.
is.
It could do some
Rumination.
damage.
Rumination.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
thoughts, and then they go deeper and
Yes.
deeper and deeper. If
And
you
deeper
allow
and
it to
deeper.
start, it can go keep going. So
You
when
can
those
keep it.
I counter it with reading. I got books all around because I'm a reader. I'll read, I write, and
Yeah.
content creator, and share the journey. Share what
And
I'm
share.
learning. I've been in
Yeah.
therapy for years. I'm sharing what I'm learning throughout the therapy process. I
And
use
I
the
think
tool.
that's important because a gift is people look as a gift as I'm handing this to you.
Mm-hmm.
But a gift keeps on giving.
Come on.
It ain't just for you. You know what I'm
Teach a
saying?
man,
It's
give
for
a man fish,
everybody
he'll
you
eat a day.
connected to.
Teach him
Exactly.
the fish he can eat a lifetime. It's
That's right. And it's
we can
important.
keep. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, sure. I'm sorry. It's important that we do reach out when we know somebody is going through,
Yes,
when we
yes.
know that they've been dealt a hard blow. It is so important
Community,
that we reach out
hold them up,
and yes, be there,
and
hold them up.
it's more than a few days. You know what I'm saying? It's more than
Yeah,
a few days is great, That's what the jobs give you anymore. A few days
Yeah.
of bereavement. But do you actually think that a few days is enough for? No, it's not.
No, it's
I mean,
not. It's
in what
not.
world do you live in? Yes, you go back to work. I went back to work. I went, and all these things, but it was the chatter was going on. See, when I talk to people that have had a loss like that, I had an awesome job, girl. I got the job of a lifetime. If you really want to know the truth, I
Yeah.
got the job of a lifetime. I've had a lot of excellent opportunities and a lot of excellent jobs in my life that I'm grateful for. But the last
Yeah.
job that I had was, and I was in there doing a great job, doing the job. But nobody knew that while I'm doing my job and this project, this was going on. And I thank God it's not going on no more. It stopped at that late
Yeah.
that night. But up until
Yeah.
that late night, this is what was going on. I'm looking at everybody smiling, doing whatever, working. But Randy, what happened with Randy? Did she cry out? Was she? You don't know how long she laid there.
Oh Lord.
Did she need you? What was Randy doing? How did they shoot her? What they say to her before it happened? Randy. What did she got? Did she say, "Mama"? What she said? Randy. Oh, Trayvon's hurt. Trevor's hurt. Tommy's hurt. Your mom's hurt. This person. Everybody's hurt. Randy. That's what was going on the
Yeah.
whole time. The whole time, and I'm just sitting there like, do they know what's going on? Do they know that I'm really trying to hold it in?
Yeah. Oh my
So when I
gosh.
when I say the feel, deal, and heal process, until you feel, deal, and heal, people are walking around with that and trying to
In
see
their mind.
if anybody know. It's not going on with me no more because I
It's
had to
not.
actually deal with it. I had to deal with it, and then the chatter stopped.
Now dealing with pain, it doesn't take away. Uh, there are still going to be days that you hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to be days that you're going to feel empty inside. But your view of what happened changes. Like you
Exactly.
change loss into transition.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's the beauty of how God brings us to a healing place.
Yes. Thank you, Sean. That's
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
It,
That's the beauty of it.
it's a you transition too.
You
If
transition
you
to,
have the mindset to grow,
yes.
you go on the
We have
transition as
to.
well.
We can't allow, we can't allow, and Randy wouldn't have wanted to take you to a dark place
Thank you.
and leave. She wouldn't want
Thank
that. He had too much light.
Thank you.
He had too much light to want her mother or anybody she was connected to be in a dark place. And so
Exactly.
that's why it's important for us to grab a hold, even if we feel like, I always say, in every situation that looks like it's the worst that you could
Mm,
be in,
mm-hmm.
is always a morsel of positive or goodness that you can get out of it.
Mm.
And though we might have to fight through it, like you was at that lake fighting to find that light,
Thank you. Thank you. I mean,
but
there.
God gave you the answer. You know what I mean? We just can't give up. We have to fight for it. We
You have
have
to
to
fight
fight.
for it. And on the other side of that is a new life. I mean, I
Yeah.
live life so much free now. I mean, I'm not shackled to anything that I used to be afraid of. I mean, I worked through my fears. I mean, I worked through it. And it's just like, if, to be able to live again after wanting to die and feeling like part of me was gone and all. I mean, every emotion I felt, and
Yeah.
to actually be renewed and revived and know the truth. See, it didn't just stop there at that lake. The conversations are now so much more enlightened that I have with God. The things that I
Yeah.
see now, the things that I feel, it's like enlightenment. I have been
Enlightenment.
enlightened in so many ways that I can see things clearer now. I can understand
Yeah.
things with more clarity now.
Yeah.
Some people say the veil is lifted. Whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, all I know is that I see God in when God said I am that I am in everything. I see God in everything, and I thank God
Everything.
for everything. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for I'm thankful to have the
Yeah.
mindset. I'm gonna tell you this: when I was on, I ride public transportation now, and we'll see how much we share of this. Um, that's part of it. I'm on disability now.
My oldest haul. I now receive $23 a month in food stamps due to me being on disability. My daughter was robbed and murdered
I got hungry.
a few years ago, and I had a breakdown. And mentally, emotionally, every kind of way, I was just not able to continue on as I had been. So I'm now on disability. It's temporary. I won't be on disability forever, but I needed to take a break off. But I'm having to learn a new way of living. And I get $23 in food stamps a month, and this is what I just got with that $23. And I needed it. I really needed it because, again, disability does not go very far. That's why I had to also give up my vehicle and use public transportation. But I guess you could say it's a humbling experience. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning how to live with less and to appreciate everything that I have. And so, yeah, I just thought I would share. This is $23 in groceries with the $23 food stamp allotment I was given.
I'm not able to work the job that I used to work because I wasn't able to do that for my sanity and for theirs. And so I had to pull myself out
and lay it out here for you.
The truth is the truth.
The truth.
And we know what the truth do. It makes us free. Once you tell the truth, guess who's free and no longer shackled by the guilt and shame and the fear and all that.
Thing is,
today, once they get to know and see who Randy is, that's why I was always so adamant about the letters and about people showing up, because I need them to know what they did. See, they don't know. But once they know, surely they're going to say, my God, I'm so sorry, and mean it. That's what I want. If they don't mean it, they can keep it. And then they got to deal with whatever they got to deal with. That's on them. But what I would want, my true thing, is for them to mean it and for them to change. To turn from their wicked ways, to turn from evil and turn to good, and use their story and their life to show what they did as a young man and how they have been reformed and redeemed. Because there is redemption. How do I know? I should have been a statistic. I always had a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I did play up to the role in some ways. Because
when he said it takes a village, it takes a village.
It really does.
Because and I've learned too, Sherelle, I say this often, you could be the person in the village that put that positive impact, because you need to know that there's also villains in the village.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those villains can get a hold to your precious loved ones. So that's why it's so important that we reach out. It don't have to be somebody we know. If we see somebody we can impact their life, then we need to do that.
Thank you.
There are so many times, and I can only speak from personal experience. There are so many times where that voice told me, talk to that young lady. But I didn't. I didn't talk to that young lady. You know what I'm saying? And then there were times that I did. There were times that I did. The days that you know, with me doing hair for 20 plus years, I had the opportunity to listen and to speak. There were plenty of times that customers spoke life into me, and I spoke life into them. So, and that's why I think it's so important. These type of conversations, being vulnerable and putting out your feelings, the process you went through of your daughter transitioning is so important. A lot of people don't like to share their pain and their struggles, and when they went from laying down on the street crying out to being in a car trying to unalive yourself to the place that you are now. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people feel like they in that boat alone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes you need to be there alone. I didn't realize I was never alone. You know,
Yeah.
I was never forsaken. I was never left alone.
Yeah.
Never. I wrote something that said, and the bullets haven't landed yet. The bullets that they use, they haven't landed yet because it's just like they keep ricocheting. They keep ricocheting.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
family is ricocheting. The armor on, do something because I see it ricocheting.
Yeah.
And just running through this family. Drugs, all kinds of things. Drug abuse. Alcohol abuse. I was abused. I was becoming a wino. I was drinking. I have to watch it now. I got notes on my door. Wine in moderation. You know what I'm saying? It's to make sure that because you could slip into it.
Yeah.
It feels good to just so you could slip into. There's all kinds of things that people do to numb the pain instead of feeling the pain.
Yeah.
It's numbed. You gotta stop numbing so you can feel it, so you can get to the root of the pain. Why am I feeling this pain? And I hope it doesn't lead to the lake, to a point where you're trying to unalive yourself, because that's not the answer. Because we cannot do what only God is in control of. There are people that even try to unalive themselves and it doesn't work. Because who's in control? Not us.
Not us. That's right.
And I'm talking about people that have shot themselves and stuff, and it didn't work.
I have been a CO on several people in the hospital that have tried that, and it just, you know what I'm saying, it didn't work.
Because you're not in control.
But it didn't work. It wasn't your time.
It wasn't your time. And
the feelings and emotions that come along with that, we're going to experience it. That's something that we can't get away from, right? That's just it. The feelings and the pain and the hurt is going to come. But how we deal with it, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yes, it does.
It makes all the difference in the world.
If what you focus on makes all the difference in the world. Because if, as I said, if I, even the verbiage, the words that I use, if I focus on the death, the murder, I'm gone. If I think that her life ended, that I lost, that, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. I don't even like for people to say that, because I feel like I want to say I didn't lose anything. But that's kind of smart, Alex. But I just be like,
but no, I think it's important that you say that, Sherelle.
Sometimes
and the reason why I think that's important, because people need to know that, let me let you know what I've gained in all of that.
Yes, thank you.
You know what I mean?
That's the truth, Sean. That's the truth of the matter. And
to that mother,
Alexa, stop. Sorry.
That's what.
Say that again.
What would you say to that mother or that father who's had a child that's transitioned? Because I'm gonna say,
unfortunately, bad things happen to good people. My daughter, one of the very best, one of the very best. But at the same time, she's now free from this world. Do you see the things that we're going through? The things that are going on in this world that a lot. The cost of living alone, is enough food.
It's enough. Yeah.
So when I think about the freedom from that, you just have to, it's all about how you think about it. They're free. They are free. And longest rope you ever saw. And he's got this much of the rope is red. And he said, this is how much your life is. But
imagine that this rope is a timeline of your existence. You just exist forever. You see this red part? This would represent your time on earth. You've got a few short years here on earth, and then you've got all of eternity somewhere else. And what blows me away is some of you, all you think about is this red part. You go, oh man, I can't wait till here. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save so I can really enjoy this part right here. And you're consumed with that. And you're thinking, oh man, am I going to get to travel? Am I going to eat well? Am I going to do this during this part? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
And he said, this is how much your life is. But eternity, he just kept on pulling that rope. We're focused on this little bitty. I'm gonna insert it in here. We're focused on this little bit of life. We don't know if this red part is 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, 33 years, 27 years, 88 years, 100. Yeah. We don't know how much that red part is, but we focus on that and we forget that we got all eternity sometimes. But what we need to be focused on is eternity. And once we change our focus from right here, only here, and then we got to be in the present too, but we also have to set our sights on eternity. Yeah. And when you know that there is an eternity and that this life is not all there is, that's how you can be free. That's how you have to know the truth. This life is not all there is. And if this is what you focus on, and if you focus on the world, there's a scripture that says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yes. But if you're conforming to the patterns of this world and tied down to this world, then you got to be transformed and know what the truth is. And when you have that transformation in your mind, then your verbiage changes.
Your mind. That transformation, that perception, your way of thinking has to change.
It has to change. It has to change. It's got to go from the darkness to the light. It's got to go because as long as you stay in the dark, you get darker and darker and lower and lower. You got to be in the light. You got to have some light.
In order for that transformation to take place, you have to be mindful of what you allow in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Your ear, your eyes, your ears, what you listen to, who you listen to.
Yes.
What you see and what you take, and you are what you eat. And I mean, what I would say to a parent is there are no journeys that are alike. All journeys are different because everybody loves their child in their own unique way. Yeah. Prayerfully, you did love your child. Because again, when there's not, and love is an action word. It's not just it's not just saying it. Love is proven.
It's a verb. Yes.
It's proven. Yes, you can prove love. It's tangible. You know when somebody loves you. It ain't just somebody that just said it is tangible. I can prove. You can prove when you love somebody. You know what I'm saying? People can see it and feel it, almost touch it.
Yeah.
So just love your children. Just love your children. Love your family. Love one another. Love. The main ingredient is love God with your everything you got, your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then love yourself. See, a lot of times we leave ourselves out of that equation because the scripture says, love God and then love your neighbor as you love yourself. How can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? So the second step is making sure you love yourself properly. We so focused on loving our neighbors and helping and serving. We forget, you know what they say on the plate? You got to put your own self to oxygen first. Because if you don't have oxygen, how can you want to save everybody else and you running out of gas and ain't nobody gave you none on the way back? Here you laid out.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Period.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
And
I pray that these videos, these conversations is going to reach somebody and help somebody. He said if we just touch one, you've covered a multitude.
Yes, so, I tell you, it's helping me because when you talk about it, it helps. That's part of the process and that's part of the dealing.
Yeah.
If you don't talk about it, how are you dealing with it?
Yeah.
You haven't.
That's true. Yeah.
So
that's true.
Part of the process of dealing with it for me is to talk to it. I couldn't stop. Someone that may be going through something and they feel like they're going through it alone. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm going through, but to feel like it's over. The pain is too great. The trauma is too great. You can't stop thinking about it. It's got you on lock. For me, it's been many of things, but the last thing was my daughter's murder/transition.
Yeah.
And so we all have had some type of trauma. Some traumas we want to say are worse than others, but there's a saying that says, if we were all to bring all of our problems and put it into a pile, and you saw what everybody else had gone through, you might take yours back and just quietly leave the room, because some people have gone through some things that you would never even imagine, even as children and things like that, or their children are going through it. So sometimes see what somebody's going through and think that, oh, I would never want to, but you never know what other people are going through
You
too.
never know. You never
So
know.
let's
You're
all
right.
just be kind and be more understanding. Let us all be more willing to share our stories, because I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it makes you feel better when you hold it in and you hide it. It's almost like it locks you down and weighs you down. But
Yeah.
you when you let it out, and it's nothing to be
Let
embarrassed
it
about.
out.
People are worried. There are times
Yeah.
in our life that we all go through our trials and tribulations,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to
it's okay.
open
It's
up. It's okay to tell
okay.
your story. It is
They do
healing.
make you stronger. But each one you
Yeah.
get through, you be like, dang. Not that you
Okay.
were invincible, not that you were invincible, but you be like, man,
I didn't know I had it in me. Yeah.
just
That's it.
let it just to literally just go with the flow. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
And once I really start going with the flow.
Yeah.
So first of all, we are just going to I'm just gonna let Sean talk about 23 years ago, her brother was murdered. I know some of the
Yeah.
details. I don't know them all. I don't need to know them. All I know is I was there, talked to
Yeah.
you all, walked with, saw your mom, saw your brother. So now I'm gonna, let you just tell. And any questions that we have, I have along the way, but just
Yeah.
tell your experience.
Well, you remember my brother Terry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's my baby brother. It was four of us. I'm the only girl. 3 boys, 1 girl. And I remember it like it was yesterday, Sherelle. And when I say unfamiliar pain is just, and I just remember going through a whole cycle of emotions, losing my baby brother. And I tell you, I was pregnant with my daughter now. Her name is Terry. I named Terry after him. And so, he had just moved back from Texas. So he had moved back to Texas, and he moved back here. And he had asked to use my car to go fish, and I was pregnant, and I didn't want to drive my car. It had some type of leak, the fume smell. It was making me sick. And so I was like, go ahead. At the time that that weekend, I was never see my brother again. But if for those who don't know, I mean, the story was all over. It was a serial killer that took the life of my brother and 3 other people, and he stopped by to say hi because he hadn't seen him. Now this, you know what I mean? You just never know. This is the same young man that used to come to our house and eat dinner. This is the same young man that people would say, your brother took up for him because people bullied him.
How far back were they associates or years?
Oh my God, let's see. We stayed down the street from him when I was a senior in high school. And yeah, so years back.
Oh, now see, Sean, I didn't
Years
know that. I knew that there was some affiliation, but I didn't know it was that. I really didn't know. And not that I think I told you that he dated one of my sister's best friends. My sister said when it came out and it was out on the news, my sister came to me and said, don't you remember such and such was dating him and we came to your house and remember see what a small world it is, girl?
Yes.
That
and
man
you just
had
never
taken
know.
home around my sister and dating in my home.
In your home. Never knew. You just never know. We didn't know. I didn't know till the trial that he had schizophrenia. And that schizophrenia is not an excuse. If they hear voices, auto hallucinations, they hear the auto hallucinations mean they're not visual hallucinations. So they're not seeing things, but they're hearing things. Most of them will talk to the voices. You'll hear them talking out loud to the voices.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Usually with men, they usually get diagnosed in like around 18, 19. They get diagnosed early. And it could be frightening for young men. He was young. He was probably they don't like to believe they have that diagnosis. You know what I mean? I've run across them that there's nothing wrong with me. No, you just have it's just like a broken limb, or some people get heart disease or kidney disease, or you know what I mean? The brain can get sick too.
Right. So the pain will never leave. That the missing.
It never leaves.
So I want to know, does it stay the same after 23 years, or do you feel
like after 23 years, I still, that's why a lot of things with my brother, with my brother transitioning, it taught me how to appreciate a lot of things that I took for granted. And memories were one of them. The ability to remember, the ability to smell.
Oh man.
And I'll tell you why. Because my brother loves Sade. The ability to hear. So if I hear Sade, guess what? I'm smiling because I know he loves Sade.
You hear her, you're sharing that with him still.
You sharing that too. The ability to remember, to have a memory, to have made memories, to look back, even the times where we argued and fussed. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say this: my baby brother, he was one of those people that he never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He was the one for the underdog. He thought I was the best woman sister in the world,
and he was right, Sean. No. What he did was recognize. See, some people don't recognize, and they take people like you for granted. They really do. I mean, the things that you did. I mean, even that day, you said that you got to ride to work. You got to ride to work to give him your car.
Yeah. And do you know how many times I would say to myself, why didn't you just tell him no? You know what I mean? You beat yourself up. Like,
I did the same thing, Sean. I told you about the game. I'm the one that was going to post that game. And my daughter said, Mom, you don't know nothing about those specs.
Yeah.
Let me post it. Send me the pictures. Mom, send me the pictures. I'll go grab the specs and I'll post it. That's how that happened, Sean.
Yeah. That's it.
And
you can beat yourself up and you can ask yourself, like, if I would have just told him no. If I would have said be back by this time, he wouldn't have had time to stop by Mark's house to say hi.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, those are questions you ask yourself over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many nights I had a dream that I was peeking out of the blinds and he was going to be there. You know, and it was like the dream was so real. I'm not a dreamer, but it was happening almost every night to where I was getting up out of my bed, going to the front door, looking through the blinds to open the door for him.
Oh God. Like that was a long time ago you were having these dreams, or?
Yep. But I had them for a long time.
Wow.
I had them for a long time. And the thought of, because of the manner in which he was taken, the manner was so egregious that, you know what I mean? It's like, Lord, why?
Yeah.
The pain, you know, I lost a brother, but the hurt and the pain that I had to see my mother go through was like, and nothing you could do. You can't take the pain away. There's not enough hugs you can give her. You know what I mean? To make it right. And I watched how
she reached out to me, Sean. Like I told you, she wouldn't stop, because when I come in there, I remember a long time ago when I came in y'all's house and I saw the drawing of Terry up there on that wall. Somebody did for your. She was so proud of that drawing.
I went and had that painting done. because Terry didn't like to take pictures. And that one picture he took with Chanty, I went and
she, I can remember that you were the one that did it, but I know when I came in there, she was so proud of that picture and how big it was, and that's like a prize thing. So you did a good job by doing that. I didn't realize it was you that did it, but I remember she was like, "Yeah, look at it. That's my and that was a long time ago. But I know she still got that to this day because I was just over that
pain. And Brother Rourke has passed on, and I'll never forget when I asked him to make that painting. That was a picture of my brother. I have the original picture.
I did so good last time. I didn't think I was going to get last time I was prepared with tissue. Didn't even cry. And this time I'm out of here. But
we said it's going to be an array of emotions, and it's okay. That's a part of life. We cry, we laugh, we get angry, we get happy, joyful.
Yeah.
But I had to, and I feel like the reason and why this is so important is to know that you can smile again.
Yes, Sean.
You can live life again after losing.
And it be real.
Somebody so
dear. And it be genuine. It not be a fake. It be from within because you've dealt with it, because you have confronted the issues. You haven't just swept it away. You went to court. You heard the story and the testimony about this young man's life, and then you were able to better understand. You know what I'm saying? Some people just like write somebody away. One movie that I do love is that The Shack. Have you ever saw that movie, The Shack?
The Shack. No, who plays in it? I ain't seen that movie. I'm gonna have to look it up.
I'll send you the link. That'll be something. That'll be another something that we can discuss, because what they did with that movie was really talk about understanding the person that hurt you. Who hurt them? Who hurt them? Who hurt them? Who and who's gonna finally bring that to right here and say the buck stops here, because I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm not gonna let somebody keep hurting me and just keep on acting like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They call it.
One day I want to talk about the setup. The setup is it takes you way back. And that's why a lot of the stuff is so ingrained, and the trauma and the pain and the repetitiveness of hurting others, it becomes second nature, because it's just like a screw in a metal that has been through all of the weather and it has rusted. Now you can't tell the difference. They are one now. They can be separated, but doing that separation, it's gonna take a lot of work. So I don't want to take the pain with me. You got to give me something from this. Because what people don't realize when they hurt you, when they violate you, when they take something so precious like your child or your sibling or your parent or whoever the person is,
just like your brother.
Yes.
Sometimes we can fault someone for being pure in a world that's not.
I understand that everybody that look like a lamb is not. There's more wolves out there.
Salt and sugar looks the same, don't it? No.
So we get so focused on what the outside look like, and the inside is so dusty and filthy. You see what I'm saying? That outside is an illusion.
That's why it really is an inside out job, son. I mean, those things we call them cliche, but really, the work has to start from the inside. First of all, it starts up here. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You can't make any transformation if your mind is not new. If you got old thinking like Joyce Myers, how could you do something new? Different? You got to get rid of the stinking thinking. How you get rid of the stinking thinking? Get real and feel, deal, and heal. How do you do it? You've got to stop numbing and ignoring and start dealing. How do you deal? Process it. What is wrong with me? Why am I doing these things? Where can I go to figure this out?
Just like you said, back up here. It's our way of thinking. It's our way of thinking.
It's our way of thinking. And you can be over positive to where you're just, I'm going to pray about it. I don't accept it. Like, I don't claim that. I don't. But what are you doing to not accept it? I mean, those days are over. That's what. I mean, that the bucket illustration is the same thing the guy has shown me. Is that the bottom of the bucket? That's where you just comfortable and complacent, and you scared, and you just like, this is good enough. I'm fine. I don't really want to. They say I see a little light shining up there, but I'm fine down here. This is what I'm used to. I'm used to it. Everybody else is comfortable down here. Who would I think I am that I can get out there and get outside that bucket? I'm used to being down here. But it sure looks good up there. It sure, God, is so bright. It look. How would I get up there? Crawl your way out, dig your way out.
Crawl your way out.
Any means necessary. When you determined to do something, baby, I tell people, you know, when you ask me that question about a check that your beloved brother that you love and that loves you, that you cherish, that you have a tight relationship with, not just some people are brothers and sisters and just by name only. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know what y'all are. I know what y'all are. So that's a different ball game.
I love you, brother. I love you, sister. I mean, it was just,
it was real love. No shade. And not only just saying it, there was respect. That's why you knew when he wasn't back, something was wrong.
Happened. Yeah, something was wrong. He wouldn't have never done that.
Tell us about how that came to be, about the name.
Yeah, and I decided to name her after him because during my pregnancy, he was like, I was going through names, like trying to figure out a name. Her original name was going to be Trifina. I
love Terry.
And I came up with Trifina because Trifina is in Romans in the Bible. Diligently sought after God.
We're gonna have to insert that. That's good. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, because
you spelled it the biblical way too.
Okay,
I
spelled it the same way it's spelled in the Bible.
Wow.
And so, and that was originally going to be her first name. And he was like, "Why you want to name one of your kids after me?" Because my son is named Anthony, which my brother name is Anthony. But my ex-husband name is Anthony too, so it wasn't actually named after my brother. He wasn't named after my brother, but he was like, "Well, you can name one of your kids after me," you know. So that's how I ended up naming her Terry and put Trifina as her middle name. And I
love the name Terry for a girl. You know, I'm good because my daughter's name is Randy. You know. And so when did you decide though? When did you decide? Was it after he was transitioned that you decided to do that? Or
I did. After he had transitioned, I decided to name because like I said, her first name is going to be Trifina. Because I was like, I want her name to be
right. And now it means everything.
Yeah. When he said it, I was like, I think about it, you know, like that. But you know, I wanted Trifina in that name. So and I end up naming her Terry Trifina.
Wow.
And so not only being pregnant, I was going through something else physically in my body. And the grief really came later on.
Me too.
When I was just
now, when you say later, would you say year? I mean, like, because for me it was years later.
It was.
I mean,
like a
couple of years.
Yeah, it was years later. I went through a very deep depression. Very deep depression.
Me too.
You know, I didn't want to get out of bed. It affected my career. It affected me doing, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to answer phone calls. It was just, I didn't even know I was depressed. I didn't even know it.
I knew it.
That was just like
I didn't want to go around people. When I didn't want to go around people anymore, Sean, because I'm a very outgoing person. When I completely isolated and it was long, because I shut down sometimes. I don't call it isolation. I call it getting myself together, building myself back up.
Yeah.
But when I shut down, now what was the longest that you feel like you? Because I shut down for some months.
My shutdown was for some years.
Wow.
Going to work, coming home, and getting into bed. But children, because I had to provide for them. I had to make sure that I was. If it wasn't for them, I don't know, Sherelle. See, when your daughter transitioned, your kids will grow adults.
They were adults.
You know what I mean?
They were
Mine
adults.
was still young. I mean,
And
Terry was in my womb. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it makes a difference. So
you had to. It shut her down. She said, I saw that red car coming around the corner. Ain't that car pulling up? It triggered her. Same with my mama. I pull up and I go in my mama's house and she would be crying. And she said, why can't it be Randy? It ain't fair. So I got to go into that. I'm going to see my mama, but I'm triggering her just because of the car. So I had to get rid of it, Sean. I didn't want to trigger people and make them hurt.
Yeah.
And that's what it was doing every time I pulled up. And I mean, how could it not? How could it not? The exact same car.
The thing is learning how to, like I tell people, I done been through so many traumatic experiences to where you get to the place to where you're gonna have those triggers. The PTSD is not gonna be forever.
Right.
The triggers are gonna be there.
Right. It's how you deal with them.
It's how you deal with it. It's about changing that mindset and getting the joy out of it.
That's what it's about.
That saying to see the red car. I remember when that beautiful smile used to pull up in that red car. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about changing your mind. Just like before you hear Sade, you crying. I miss my brother. Today, I'm smiling. That was his favorite one. Of his favorite artists. So it's just like
changing. It's like a switch, changing it from like dark to light. I'm not gonna go in that dark place and think about death and sadness and the missing. What I'm gonna think about is, like you said, that smile, that laugh, those moments, that respect, that love,
those moments.
And keep on thinking about that, and not only that, to know that it's never ending. That didn't stop. They just transitioned into another, and one day it'll be forever. It'll be forever. And that's what I do. That's what I do on those days where it's starting to. But when you get in control of that chatter, that's the thing. When you make that chatter stop, I mean, that was the pivotal point for me when I was, and to make it stop. And that's up to us. No pill can do it. No doctor, no pastor, nobody can do that except you go into God, you go into source, you figuring out what it's going to take for you to take control. Because what's the word say? One of my favorite, God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Another scripture that says that we have to take control and pull those negative thoughts down and make them obey.
Yes.
Those thoughts are trying to tell you this. You say,
you gotta bring those into captivity.
Exactly. No, I hear it starting. And guess how I do it? I get up and I find something to keep me active, something that I love to do, something that I'm passionate about. And right now it's this. Right now it's my book. Right now it's sharing stories about my daughter in a creative way. So people that never knew her will get to know her through the stories that I tell.
Yes.
The people, Alexa, stop. The people that murdered her, their family, whoever, they're going to get to know her. They're going to get to know her through the stories that I'm telling.
Exactly.
And that gives me.
Yours was the chatter. Mine was the hate. Hate for him.
Wow.
I did. And I'm not a hateful person at all. I had to get to a place like, I don't understand. Even going through that moment of hating him, to understand how people can hate so much, because hate eats you up.
It's poison. It's poison.
It's
It's
poison.
darkness. It's that darkness that needs to be exposed to the light.
Mm-hmm.
And it will fester, and it will fester, and bring you down and darker and darker and darker.
Yeah, to the place where
And
I'm like,
and
if I could
Sean,
just get a hold of
if
him.
anybody was to tell me that Sean hated him, or I mean, not anybody, Sean hates her, I would be like, Sean, because I know that's not your character. You are a loving person. You're a caring person. You're kind. You have the fruit of the spirit. That's what I would describe you as. A woman that has the fruit of the spirit. And so for you to say that you hate it, that's that deep down pain. You took something from me so precious. You took something from me so precious.
Precious. My baby brother showed me so much love.
That's a blessing, Sean. See, that's even giving your flowers. You're still getting flowers from the words.
Yeah.
The feel that it's like I say with Randy, reading her journals and reading her Facebook posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm still getting fed and still getting flowers, still getting affirmations, still getting hugs and love from my daughter even now. That's how much the respect and the love was there. And like you said, I'm not taking from any of my other children. But when you spend time with the person, it makes all the difference.
It makes all the difference. Yeah.
You can tell me that you love me, or you can actually come sit with me, sup with me, spend time.
Yeah. I couldn't even fuss at Terry. I couldn't. He would make me.
It was just something about that relationship. It was just something about it, because you are the big sister to him that he looks up to, you know, and
so protective of me. He thought I was the best hairdresser in the world.
And he is.
So high.
Let me start pulling out some pictures of me. Yeah.
He spoke so highly of me.
It's easy to do when it's actual and factual.
I miss him so much. I do. And whenever he leave, I love you, sister. He go, I love you, sister. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I'm Nancy over here.
See, oh Lord, I don't know that feeling, but I've seen how the hurt, like her. I mean, immediately my mom's smile left. Before I had put a missing person out report. Now, mind you, he unalived 4 people.
And how long before you knew, Sean? How long before you all got the call or knew?
So we got the call. I can't tell you the time space. It was within a week time.
So it was a week. I didn't. Okay. See, we knew immediately.
You knew immediately. We knew something was not right. Because you know what I mean? And my mom knew in her heart that he was no longer with us.
And did she say that, Sean? Did she say, I know?
She knew. She knew. She said it. She sat out on the porch. She knew. Okay. I had put out a missing person, but I put the missing person out in Kansas. He was found in Missouri. And I got the call because it was my vehicle. The day that he was taken from us, he went by, that day that he went fishing. On his way home, he stopped by the boy's house.
And that's in Missouri?
And the boy, no, that was here in Kansas. It was in Kansas. So he stopped by the boy's house. The boy lured him into the basement to show him something, the base or whatever. And that's when he attacked him from behind, you know. And so
and he did all this? He admitted the truth, because see, they're changing their stories, you know, in my daughter's things. You know, I'm still going through this. So they're trying to play a lot of, you know.
He was hearing voices. On top of hearing voices, he was taking, you know, he was on drugs. that intensified the voices.
Right.
And so he drugged my brother and, drug him to the back seat of my car. And so how he was found was a trooper saw the car parked crooked and went to investigate. He didn't park the car straight. And it was raining outside that day. And she peeked through the window because she was just going to put a ticket on the car and go. But she just so happened to peek through the window and saw his fingertips sticking out of the tarp. And that's when I got the call because they ran the tags and it came. Imagine me having to tell her.
No.
And I was so, what trauma does to you, it'll take you, it's just your mind is up. So the officer is telling me, your car was found. And I said, I put a missing person out for my brother. My brother was in my car. He was like, can you describe your brother? And I said, he had his hair cut low in a low cut, but all I could picture in my mind is my favorite haircut on him, which was a low cut bob. So I'm like, his hair is cut in a bob, like a little afro, and it was, it wasn't that. And he was like, well, could you name any tattoos? And I named a tattoo that he had on. And they was like, we found your brother. And so that's when they went to, his house, and then they discovered everything else. He and all the people he attacked were his friends.
It take for you all to go through court. Do you remember about how long?
About 3 years.
So that's when you have to go into this. No matter what happens in the court of law, there's a higher court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how that he was able to do that. And he had retired from painting.
Oh.
I begged him to do that for me. He did it.
I'm so glad.
For a little or nothing.
One of the things that I'm so glad that I have, there's several things. I mean, this was one of her watches. I was gonna, girl, she has so many watches. Because Randy worked, I keep little things around. There's always something around that's hers that I hold on to. But
this is something you're gonna have to step in and help me deal with.
Oh yeah. And I believe that's why we go through it, because we do meet God at a different level.
Yes.
You meet him at a different
level. Yeah, my understanding of forgiveness was so off. It was so off.
You and me,
know what I'm saying? Because when you have to forgive at that magnitude, it is totally different. And I can't do this on my own. And I had to tell the Lord, I can't do this on my own.
Yeah. Back in the mirror, like, are you who you say you are? Do you really believe what you said you believe? That's what I was doing. Like, I said that I could forgive. I said, but can I really? Do I really?
Yes. But Lord, you're going to have to take me on a different road now. You're going to have to take me on a different road.
I would have to say, it's a beautiful journey. Through all of it that I've been through. God. And I'm going to tell you something. It's, the saying, it is, so many quotes. Nobody, that's not a quote. Somebody felt that and they wrote it.
Yeah.
And they shared it. Some people, it's just a quote, but until you experience it, now that quote is yours too. And when they said, it is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
Yes. Man.
To have never experienced Randy and Smith and Terry, ain't no way. To have never experienced them at all, or to have experienced them and then they go ahead and transition.
Yeah.
I'll take them, and No, I
take
don't
the
want to.
experience.
I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want that phone call. I don't want the shock. I mean, girl, sometimes it could just take you to a place that you just think, how did I get through? I mean,
Yeah. 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 It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing because you just never know until you in that seat
you don't.
what
You
it
don't.
feels like.
You don't.
You don't know. You don't know. And God amazes me how He will answer you.
Mm-hmm.
He will answer you.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why
in
it
my
says you have
mind,
to really seek. See,
yeah,
people, there's a difference in asking and seeking. I look
yeah,
the seeking is lose your keys, lose your cell phone, and then you'll
yeah,
know what seeking is. Because
yeah,
you'll turn off every
yeah,
goddamn thing to find it. You
yeah.
won't
You definitely
lose
will.
the keys or your cell phone, and then you know what seeking is. And if you're not looking for the truth, God, the source, the answer to make life make sense, your purpose and whatever.
Mm-hmm,
First of
mm-hmm,
all, a lot of people don't know their purpose. And if you don't know your purpose, you can never understand these things. You got to know your purpose too. Mine is teacher.
yeah,
It ain't, that's not a surprise because since I've been a little girl, I love to learn and then teach people what I learned. That's
yeah,
just what I do.
yeah. That's it. That's it. A
And
teacher always loves to retain and to give it back.
to give back. And why do you
To
think
give
that
back.
is? Is because it's something that we needed. And because we didn't get it exactly the way we needed it, now you want to
Yeah,
make sure that you can be a resource to those ones that
that's
need it.
true. Yeah,
And especially
yeah,
in the formative years,
yeah,
when the child's when they're developing, when their ideas are being formed, who they
yes,
are is being formed, what they believe. And of course,
yes,
they're going to lean towards what their parents and what they're seeing. So they need to see the demonstration, not just the lip service. I
yes.
never could stand for a parent to say, do as I say, not as I do. Boy, that'll make me want to bust somebody.
Woo, woo. I had to learn that when I was asking for directions on how to raise my kids, especially my son,
Mm-hmm.
because we need to understand if your mindset is this, okay, I'm speaking for me in the spiritual realm of things, like everything that you do inside the presence or out of the presence will affect them. Because you dropping seeds, I might not smoke in front of them, but I smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, like in the presence and out of the presence.
Right.
And I had to lose that was ingrained in us as kids, do as I say and not as I do, because for one, we're their first example.
Mm-hmm.
We're their first example. By human nature.
And we'll tell you this hurts you, don't do this, but you steadily doing it.
You doing it.
It don't make sense. That's where the confusion starts in. That's where
the Lord told me, if you tell them no, don't say because I said so.
Explain
Respect
to them.
Mm-hmm. Explain to them why. Show your son respect.
Thank you.
Because men need to be respected.
Yes.
We all need to be respected.
But a card from Randy inside of it. See?
Oh, wow.
You can't spell hero without her. You can't spell hero without her. Beautiful. And in the inside it says, see, I promise you I didn't know that was in there, Sean. But you see how everything, and it says, my favorite girl in the world, I love you so very much. I could never put into words what you truly mean to me, but I'll spend the rest of my life showing you. I love you, Randy. And so it says, you can't spell hero without her, and I wouldn't be me without you. See?
Oh, that is so beautiful.
That in our experiences of what we've gone through, what we've grown through, and how we got over. How we got
how
over.
it taught us, how it built us up. Yeah. What we chose to take.
She said, how my soul sat back to wonder how I made it over. She said, sometimes my soul just sits back and says, girl, how did you make it over?
Tell me how we got over. Lord, Lord, Lord. We had a mighty hard time coming on over. You know my soul look like you wonder.
My last question that I'm going to ask you is, what would you say to someone that has experienced, you know, a loss, a transition, a murder? What words would you have? What would you say to anyone that is just new to this, or you know, that's going through what they unsurmountable? The pain is so deep, and you're just wondering, will it ever get better?
What I would say is, the pain is going to always be there. How you deal with the pain makes the difference.
Yes.
But you can't deal with the pain until your mind is renewed. Your way of thinking is changed. You're in a dark, dark place. And it's hard to find that little stick pin of light. But it's there.
Girl.
It's there. And you know, and sometimes you feel like I can't sift through all of this to get to
you on the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Remember, it's dark. You're lonely.
Bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's on my own, and you have to come to the realization: I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. I'm just not.
Thank you, Sean.
And I serve you and hate this man.
Absolutely.
If he didn't take $1 from me, he didn't steal a piece of candy. He took my brother's life. The very brother that used to tell me how much he loves me, how much he admired me, and it was just.
And protected you. You said he was very protective of you.
Yes, he was my protector.
And to have somebody that is
my little brother, and we was 5 years apart, but he thought he was the big brother. Nobody better not mess with my sister. And I had to tell the Lord, you're going to have to help me. The Lord freed my schedule, and I'm not going to tell it, you know, the story like long, you know, out. I'm just going to break it down, is because forgiveness is a powerful thing. It's so powerful. I was able to see this young man in a totally different light. The things that he was deprived of, the mentorships, instead of the villagers that had wisdom and understanding and direction that they could have gave him, the villains got a hold of him. But the Lord had to let me know I'm a part of that same community that shunned a young man that needed help. Not particularly, I didn't shun him. But
turning the other people, or turning the blind eye.
Pants is hanging down. He's a thug. Look at her. She got on this shirt. She's a, you know what I'm saying, a woman of the streets, a woman of the night. And you have so much wisdom and understanding that you can pull, whether it's just one. But when you touch that one, they gonna touch one. They gonna touch one. They gonna touch one. That's why he said, if you pull one in, you cover the multitude of sins.
Thank you.
Not just from that one person, they're gonna trickle down and they're gonna pull other people in. But the Lord had to change my view of that young man. That's how I was able to forgive him. I can't take away what you did.
Right.
You still gonna have to
you were able to understand. Back,
I was able to understand.
Going back, looking at the backstory. And once you see the root, then you can understand
the root.
It's the root.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
and I had to be incorporated into the solution.
Like with that mentorship program, because young men especially need mentorship. When we start looking at those young men's profiles, Sean, and I probably said it on the last one, but that's something that it really stuck out with me. How much they were on social media with guns. I mean, I'm talking about them guns with green light and stuff on their young kids. And the grown-ups were on there not saying nothing, laughing or liking it. And I'm just like, how do we get to a point in society where high schoolers have semi-automatic guns and grown people are on there not saying nothing?
Not saying a word.
And those are the same people
that use those. They'll see it. Now that's a shame. That's a shame. I was one of those people. Now that's a shame. Instead of reaching out and telling them it's a better way.
But we're doing it now, Sean. That sums up who Terry is.
He was such a giver. Was, like I said before, he never met a stranger. Had a big heart. He loved so much, and to the point to where, it's just, you don't want to say that a person can love too much or give too much.
But I mean, that is an important thing. Well, we can segue into something with that. Words, names, what you call your own self. It means something. Call yourself what you are. And like I say, when you start seeing yourself as a queen.
Listen, that is so powerful.
I want people to know
Terry, I mean, he was such a giver because anything he had, he never had an issue with sharing.
Right.
But he was the type of person that he would. One time he went in, he killed a raccoon or a coon or whatever possum. I don't know what it was, child. I just know I opened the oven and saw some animal in there cooking with the feet still on there. He done barbecue, cooking, and lathered up a coon, a possum with one of his.
My head. John, stop it. The feet were still on.
He did, because I guess the coon or the possum or whatever one it is, they leave the foot on there so you could distinguish it from a dog, I guess, so that you could know that it's a whatever.
What did you do when you opened up that?
Scream. He was cooking it for the winos down the alley.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So that's the type of person he was. That will give you the shirt off of his back.
You have got the strength, it's always been you.